You know, when you walk through the streets of Warwick, it feels like you've stepped back in time. It's just this perfectly preserved English town. But those beautiful cobbled lanes, they hide a really dramatic story of near total destruction and an incredible phoenix from the ashes kind of rebirth. So let's get in.
And this right here, this just perfectly captures the central mystery of Warwick. I mean, look at this. On one side, you've got these ancient timber-framed buildings that look like they're straight out of the 14th century. And then, literally right next door, you see these elegant, super orderly stone townhouses from the 1700s. It's like two completely different worlds just standing shoulder to shoulder.
So, that's the big question we're going to dig into. How did this one town end up with two completely different faces? One medieval, one Georgian. Well, the answer involves a kingmaker, a truly catastrophic fire, and believe it or not, a miraculous shift in the wind.
Okay, so to really understand the rebirth, we first have to get a sense of what was lost. We've got to go back to medieval Warwick, a town that was a true powerhouse. I mean, for over 1,000 years, it was this really strategic piece of the puzzle of English power.
Okay, so it all kicks off way back in 914 with Ethelfled, who, by the way, was Alfred the Great's daughter, a total warrior queen. She sets up a fortress here to hold the line against Viking raids. Fast forward about a century and a half, and William the Conqueror shows up. He makes it a key Norman stronghold, building one of his classic Motte and Bailey castles. You know, that big earthen mound with a wooden fort plonked on top. By the 14th and 15th centuries, with powerful families like the Beauchamps in charge, Warwick wasn't just a town, it was a center of immense influence.
And this is the man who really put Warwick at the absolute heart of English politics. Richard Neville, aka the Kingmaker. I mean, during the Wars of the Roses, this guy was so powerful he could literally fire one king and hire another. For a while there, his influence basically made this town the unofficial capital of England. Wild!
And would you look at this? This is the absolute jewel of that medieval powerhouse, the Lord Leicester Hospital. It's one of the best preserved groups of medieval timber buildings in the whole country. It started life as a guild hall, but was later turned into a home for retired soldiers. And what's amazing is, it still serves that role today. It's just a breathtaking survivor, a perfect snapshot of that world before the fire.
So, that brings us to the Great Fire of 1694. On September 5th of that year, a single spark, just one spark, ignited a catastrophe that would completely and permanently reshape Warwick's destiny.
The year was 1694, and honestly, the conditions were just perfect for a disaster. You had a strong wind whipping through these narrow, timber-packed streets. It was basically a tinderbox waiting for a match.
And in just 6 hours, think about that, 6 hours, the fire, fanned by that wind, just completely consumed the medieval heart of the town. Centuries of history just turned to ash.
The scale of the devastation, it's just staggering. We're talking 460 timber-framed buildings completely destroyed. I mean, just try to picture that. Almost the entire medieval town center was just gone.
It was a near total wipeout. That dense, bustling, timber and thatch world of the Kingmaker, it was just erased from the map. All that was left was a smoking ruin.
But remember that medieval jewel, the Lord Leicester Hospital? Somehow, it survived. It was seen as an absolute miracle. Just as the flames were getting close to those ancient dry timbers of the hospital, the wind suddenly died down. Just like that. The fire stopped dead in its tracks, sparing the town's greatest medieval treasure.
And this leads us to the rebirth, a true phoenix from the ashes moment. From the ruins of the fire rose a completely new Warwick. And this wasn't just a repair job, you know. It was a total reinvention. This is how the town got its second, very different face.
Yeah, this transformation was totally deliberate and legally enforced. They passed something called the Rebuilding Act, or the Warwick Act, and it basically banned the old ways of building. They were not taking any more chances. So out went the flammable timber and thatch roofs. In came fireproof brick and stone. And those narrow medieval alleys, they were replaced with the wide, stately streets you see today. It's really a masterclass in 18th century urban planning. And of course, this new vision had its architects. Master builders like a guy named Francis Smith of Warwick were absolutely instrumental. They didn't just rebuild, they designed a whole new town with this incredible sense of order, proportion, and Georgian elegance. And that's how we got landmarks like the beautiful courthouse. But here's the thing, the fire didn't erase everything.
Beneath that new Georgian skin, Warwick's ancient stories and mysteries lived on, creating a town with this incredible hidden depth.
And what a collection of stories it is. I mean, get this. There's a 2,000-year-old Egyptian Nilometer. That's a device used to measure the Nile's floods, just sitting in an English garden. How did that get there? Then you've got J.R.R. Tolkien, who was so inspired by the town, he actually got married here. And of course, there's the legend of Guy of Warwick, a local hero who supposedly battled giants, and this seriously chilling medieval ducking stool over in St. Mary's Church.
And this really shows you the darker side of that medieval past. Deep inside Warwick Castle's dungeon, there's something called an oubliette. The name comes from the French word to forget, and that's exactly what it was for. It was just a pit where prisoners were dropped in and, well, left to be forgotten. It's a truly chilling reminder of the grim reality of medieval justice.
And of course, what's a castle without a good ghost story? The resident ghost here is Sir Fulk Greville. He was a poet and statesman who was murdered by his servant back in 1628. Apparently, the servant found out he'd been left out of the will. Now, his tormented spirit is said to haunt the Watergate Tower. It's actually one of England's most famous ghost stories.
So, you see, Warwick is so much more than just a beautiful town. It's a story of survival, literally written in timber and stone. Every single building, whether it's a medieval survivor or a Georgian successor, is a chapter in that story. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What kind of stories of fire, rebirth, and survival are hidden in the streets where you live?